Welcome to a meta discussion, and today we're doing it on a service that no one else uses. We're using the wonderful, wonderful world of Microsoft Paint to explain to you the intricacies of this meta, why it's bad, why it's good, and what our deck is built to do into it, and what you should keep in mind going into the WCQs. Now, first off, let me zoom out here. Don't look at that. 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 But all right, let's just start off with our discussion as the primary forefront deck of the format. Here's a Kewl Tune. Here's the back to back, right? They got like the red hat and like the blue hat, or that might be the Smokestack twins. I have no idea. But this is Kewl Tune, right? And we're gonna call this one specifically Hand Trap Kewl Tune. And this is like the primary build of the format, right? This is what the format started on. This is what started Columbus format. This is what started this format, right? This is the most popular deck in the room. And because it's the most popular deck in the room, decks have been designed to beat it, largely through playing engines that don't really, get affected by those hand traps, and then play a ton of breakers that really impact Kewl Tune. And the number one build that does this is, of course, Branded Despia. Let me see if I can, kind of looks like this. We'll just call this Despia, right? And this is Despia, right? And what we have here is we have a deck that is really good into hand trap Kewl Tune. But the problem that we then run into is that other decks are noticing the Despia development, right? What if you just play a really, really strong engine and then just play breakers, right? So we can also describe this as like every other breaker deck in the room can be generalized into this Despia statement. But then we have the new development, which is what beats Despia, right? What beats Branded Despia? What beats like this kind of really powerful engine deck? And for the solution to Branded Despia, it's always just been breakers, right? You just play a ton of breakers, and then you have to play an appropriately strong engine that you can win going first no matter what. And would you believe it, the deck that does that is Kewl Tune, but with breakers. This is the Triff gaming build, right? So we'll just call this Kewl Tune and parentheses Triff, right? And we'll draw a little hat here. A little hat here, they're circular hats now. And this is the Triff Gaming French Nationals build of Kewl Tune conquers Despia. But then there is a new development into the format. It started happening after Columbus, after the WCQ, not the WCQ season, the national season, is how do we beat this giant group of breaker decks in general, right? Like this generalized group of breaker decks. How do we beat this? And the solution to this is pseudo FTK decks. In most cases, it's just Power Patron, right? With like this big guy, this big goober, Vidolium, right? Power Patron. And other FTKs, right? FTKs serve as a way to beat this deck. And then and then we start to get into a weird thing, right? I guess DoomZ would also go in here, right? So DoomZ is a deck that beats specifically hand trap Kewl Tune with but is weaker to breakers, right? So we'll put DoomZ here as well, right? This is DoomZ. And this is other FTK decks, right? And the unfortunate thing that ends up happening is what also gets grouped in with this is just everything to do with Zena, right? Every single deck that has Zena in it, this is Sacred Beast. This is just Sacred Beast, Power Patron Piles, Art Mage, Sacred Beast, Sacred Beast, Art Mage, other nonsense BS decks, right? Just evolve in this pile to beat breaker decks. But then, it all comes back to the beginning, and why you see people like Triff switching up lists is how do we beat these pseudo FTK decks, right? These really popular Spell Canceller builds and these Christia builds and these Pharaonic Advent builds. We go, KT, we go back to Hand Trap KT, and Hand Trap KT beats all of these FTK decks, right? This is this big box of FTK decks. And then Rolad comes in, right? And now we have to talk about Branded Ritual Lighted Darkness. And it's why do you not want to play Branded Ritual Lighted Darkness, right? Because what you're going to end up with is you're going to end up with a same fundamental weakness to hand traps, but without any of the strengths. Your engine is not overwhelmingly powerful, so you can't instantly beat Despia. Your boards are mid-range, so you lose to Despia. And you still are impacted by cards like Ogre and Ash, and even Valor in that build hurts a lot. So you lose the Hand Trap KT, and you lose to Despia, and you lose to these FTKs because, obviously you don't have a way to win going first against high engine decks. So all of these decks, every single one, beats a branded Rolad, which is, further exacerbated by the, I guess Mitsu is also here. I'll put Mitsu here. Is further exacerbated by the fact that this just isn't that good of a deck. There's too many bricks. There, you play normal Albaz, you play like 5 trillion Rolad bricks that you just can't get out of your hand, unlike, the Azamina build. And it's just like, why would you ever play this build? And now we're getting to the end where like my thoughts are not as organized, but now we have to talk about where does our deck be positioned in all of this, right? Because I think fundamentally where we are is we are here. We are in this giant FTK pile, except we are slightly better into hand trap Kewl Tune, such that the line is no longer an arrow, but like a really small arrow into Azamina, right? Roll in. Which also matches this deck. We play the Lava Golems and the good side cards, the high impacts. We play Drolls, we play Ashes, we play Charmies in order not to get beaten by the FTKs. If an FTK sees a Charmy game 1, they're not going to play into it for fear of the hand trap Kewl Tune deck. And then post game 1, you have better cards to draw into, like Spark and Lava Golem, all of these big blowout cards that beat these pseudo FTKs that are happening. So what does this actually mean for us as a deck? What does this mean for Azamina Chaos, Azamina Rollout, Azamina... I can call it 5 different things. What it means is, are we the best deck of the format? No. I think if you look at this graph, very obviously what is probably the best deck of the format is just going to be hand trap Kewl Tune played correctly. This is a very high roll deck. If they draw well, they draw extraordinarily well. If they draw bad, they draw extraordinarily badly, right? A hand of 5 Kewl Tune cards will not do anything into an established board or an FTK, but a hand of 4 hand traps and 1 Kewl Tune card surely will just break anything. It will play through anything. It will break anything. It cannot lose. However, we're not that badly positioned, and I think if you play correctly, and I'll put some replays up later this week or today or tomorrow, a ton of replays coming tomorrow, I think if you play correctly into hand trap Kewl Tune, you don't lose as hard. And yeah, I'm saying that as in like, if the player you are playing against is not good, which the majority of people that go to Nats are, unfortunately, there's just a lot of invites provided in this game. Not everyone can be Triff Gaming or Julian Con, right? They have so many hours put into this game for no reason. There are not going to be as high quality of players. And what comes with lower quality of players is suddenly the deck that has cards that are unfair becomes a lot better, right? We have cards like Black Chaos. We have cards like the other Black Chaos. We have cards like Mind Shuffle that read insane and are not once per chain, and cards that aren't once per turn, and cards that are soft once per turns, and all of these ridiculous combo heavy cards that if there are bad hand trap Kewl Tune players in the venue, you will just do exceedingly well against them. They will hand trap you wrong. They will play into your boards wrong. They will set up their boards wrong against you. When they peek at your hand and they see 5 pushes, they will think it is 1, right? So, again, what does this all mean? What this means is, does it really matter? Not really. Like, does it matter how good your deck is into the meta? Not really. What really matters is you play it well. Is that you think through your plays well. That you think through your options. And, I don't know, practice well. This is a terrible video, and you think about your deck list well, because that's a thing that matters. And once you have all of those components together, I promise you, you will perform decently well at this WCQ. I think you aren't guaranteed a top. You definitely aren't guaranteed a day 2, but what I think you will be is you will be happy with your performance. I think if you play well, if you play the correct list, which, I've given you one, and if you play the combos correctly, which I've given you some of them, you will play extraordinarily well at this WCQ. Probably better than you've ever performed before, and I can promise you that much. And if I'm incorrect about that, get in contact with me. I'll PayPal you $1. All right, that's about it. As you can tell, I'm not very coherent or conscious today, but, daily uploads, YouTube algorithm, Bye.